The movie Cars does not make any sense. In this essay, I will What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Snack Talk. Today I'm snacking on a snack pack pudding cup and a Rice Krispie. I like my snack packs cold. I wanted chocolate. I just put a chocolate one in. They're not cold yet, so we're doing vanilla today. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. I don't think anyone missed them, but it's back. So grab a snack, let's talk. I know my hair is fading. We're not talking about it. What we are going to talk about is the movie Cars, because there's a lot to unpack there. Now, here's my problem besides making a video overanalyzing a child's movie that came out, I don't know how many years ago, long enough ago. I've always liked Cars. I thought it was an interesting idea for a movie, you know, good message, Owen Wilson. But I was talking to someone a couple months ago and they brought up the point of how did this community of cars come into play? And I've been thinking about that a lot, more than I should. So I rewatched it, and I have a whole list of topics of things that do not make any sense in the movie. Okay, so there's the initial big ticket overarching question of where did this car community come from? And I think it's easy to say it's just some alternate reality, parallel universe, just people are now cars. However, I don't like that. My theory is, and I have stuff to back this up, it's almost like a Planet of the Apes takeover, where these humans built these cars and they kept getting better, until one day they're like, F it, sentient cars. And eventually the cars became so advanced that they took everything over. And this is backed up by the fact that there's campers and like RVs. Why on earth would those exist? Because they're not big enough for cars to go in. You know, like there's Mack, the big transportation car, which I did have a problem with at first until I realized, because I was like, how does Lightning McQueen just like be inside of him? That's so weird. But it's not, because Mack himself is like the front of the truck. He's not the containment vessel that Lightning McQueen goes in. So that's okay. But these campers are human sized. Like the door is for humans. There's no car going on some camping trip inside of some other sentient camper. So that makes me think humans were a thing. Or else why would there be campers and trailers? There's also like blimps and planes and stuff, so like this goes beyond just cars. I know they couldn't encompass everything in one word for the title, but there's a lot more than cars. And speaking of the blimp, there's another problem I have where there's a scene and it's like McQueen and Sally at the old gas station or something. They go on that drive and they're at this old gas station. There are little teeny fly cars, like flies that are little cars, which, like, why aren't they little blimps? Why aren't they little planes? Because we know those exist in this world. We know there's sentient planes and blimps. So why would these flying animals not be a blimp or a plane that flies, or like little helicopters or something? And like, why are there these tiny car flies? Are there like car dogs and car moles? I don't know. Other weird animals, like, are there car spiders? And if not, why not? Why only the car flies? Just to be fun and cute for a kid's movie? That's not good enough. So kind of going back to the beginning of the movie with the campers, the blimps, everything, I want to know, is this racing like our foot races? Us as humans, we have these foot races that we watch. Is NASCAR like their foot racing? And if it's not, then what is their foot racing, you know? Like, who's the Usain Bolt in their world? And are there other car sports that they watch and participate in? Like, is there a monster truck rally? Is there bumper cars Or like, do they have tennis and the cars play tennis or something? Like, do the cars play human sports? Human sports? And if they do, that would mean humans used to exist. And what the fuck do they need bathrooms for? Let alone gendered bathrooms. Why are there genders? It's a f***ing car. The machine parts are the same. Why do we need two separate bathrooms for the guy cars and the girl cars? Doesn't make sense. What, are they like changing their oil in there? Is that really that like private? The line is so damn long at that car race, and for what? For why? For nothing. Doesn't make sense. So back to the RVs. They don't need them. People aren't living in them. What's the point of having an RV around? So if they get rid of those, is that then eugenics? Like, is that why they're still around? Because we can't just kill off these sentient beings just because they don't serve a purpose anymore? Another thing, speaking of not needing bathrooms, why do they need teeth? That's a little scary, because they're not eating anything. They don't need to eat to fuel up. They have fuel for that. Like, gas is a thing. So they're not eating anything, unless that's what happened to the humans. Because why would they need teeth otherwise? And like, Lightning McQueen doesn't really have teeth, or like barely has teeth, you never really see them. And then Mater just has these like big old bucks right in front of his face. So if they're not eating things, which we don't see at all in the movie, because they don't need to eat anything, then wouldn't evolution have gotten rid of them at this point? So because they still have teeth, I really think humans made them. Or else the teeth would have evolved away over time. If this was just like a natural thing where cars roam the earth and they take over and there were never humans, then they wouldn't need teeth and they wouldn't have teeth. Evolution would not have given them teeth. They're cars. Another reason I think this is a Planet of the Apes takeover is because there are buildings with like 3 stories that cars could not get up into. Like, they're small buildings, they have the little windows. I doubt they've got like a 2-car elevator in those buildings. These are human buildings, they are buildings for humans. They're just left over from the takeover. And then are there babies? Or do they just make fully adult cars? Well, this question gets answered later in the movie. There are babies because there is a child car at the race. Like at the big final race, there is a child car. So is it like the movie Robots where they order a baby and they build it? And then do they just change out parts to make the car bigger? And then at what point is it a different car? The engine's gotta get bigger. Everything inside of it has to get bigger. And if you're just replacing everything, eventually it's a completely different car. It's not like the same car grown up. And if they are making these new humanoid cars, like in Robots where they build their little baby, are they putting in brains? Are they, like, how are they making this not just a normal car? How are they making it like them, with like a real tongue and stuff? And whose brains are they using? Welcome to theory number 2. Humans wanted to live longer. And they couldn't just, like, replace their heart, replace their bones. They can't do that. But you know who can? Is cars. Theory number 2 is that humans decided collectively to place their conscience, sentient brain, heart, maybe not heart, but like brain into machines. So like potentially Lightning McQueen was Owen Wilson, and Owen Wilson put his brain in this car because he knew he wasn't going to live forever, but in a car, you can. And this is supported by the fact that they have these like talk shows where the hosts are imitations of the hosts we have in our world. So like, did these talk show hosts just put their brain in a car and keep the same show, keep everything the same, it's just now we're cars? Could be. Why does the hippie van have a mattress on top of it? Like, I know that's part of his shtick, but why on earth would they have a mattress or know to have a mattress up on there if there weren't humans before. Because these cars aren't sleeping on mattresses, and the mattress is way too small for a car. It is the right size for a human. Sometimes I'm craving like a homemade Rice Krispie treat, but then sometimes like these things just taste different. You can't make a homemade one like this. You could give me 1,000 years and I would not make a homemade Rice Krispie that tasted like these ones. Speaking of the mattresses, do the cars need sleep? They shouldn't. Unless there's a human or animal brain inside of them that like needs rest, or else it'll go psychotic. And now, is Lightning McQueen just so dumb that he gets lost on a road with signs? Like, I get he doesn't have headlights, but I'm not saying I'm the best driver, that I've never been lost before. But there was like one road, my guy. And I get that he doesn't have headlights, but again, there's like one road. The next thing I have an issue with is when the sheriff cop guy, his little tailpipe starts like bap bap bapping because he's old, and Lightning McQueen is like, why is he shooting at me? Are there guns in the Cars universe? Like, are there tanks and shit, or like, did humans used to have guns and the human brain is remembering this is what a gun sounds like? I really thought it was like a Planet of the Apes thing, but the more I'm talking about this, the more I'm siding with theory too. I'm really convincing myself here. There are also like classic car brands that humans invented, like VW and stuff, and this is easily explainable in the alternate universe theory, I guess. But it really seems like they're hinting that this is a world post-humans, where humans were a thing at some point. This is also supported by the fact that the cars speak different languages and they have different accents. They also have a legal system. Also, the machine Bessie that Lightning McQueen uses to pave the road isn't sentient. It's a rolling machine, and according to the laws of this world, it should be sentient like the rest of them. But it's not. Is this because nobody wanted to put their brain in that machine? Another thing I have an issue with is the cows that they like do the cow tipping in the field. Is there just like something wrong with them? Like, do they have the brain of a cow? 'Cause it seems like they should be just like all the other cars. And now if this relates to the car flies, now there's car cows, I want to know what else there is. And if they are putting their brains in things and they're putting like cow brains inside these cars, do they really take the time to put like fly brains inside these car flies? Like, why are they on a more animalistic brain level than the rest of the cars? No sense. Also, what year is it supposed to be? Because there's like the hippie van, and then there's like the military car, and they're like at each other, which representative of the 60s, and so like the whole 60s and 70s hippies saying we don't want to go to war, like get our troops out, and the government being like, no. If this is supposed to be representative of that, then the 60s happened. And who were they at war with? What kind of car wars are we not getting the history of? Unless it wasn't cars and it was humans. In present day Cars world, which countries have tension with each other? Where are we at? As Robin Williams once said, what year is it? I don't know where we are. And then they do like these flashbacks to when their town was thriving and like they had visitors from all over. When was that? Like, how many years ago? 'Cause Sally looks the f***ing same. And these cars are aging. Like, you could just replace your parts. We still all on the same page here? What is their exterior metal made of? Because Lightning McQueen drives right into a cactus patch and says, ow, like it's hurting him. Is their nervous system connected to like their outside metal? And if so, like, driving would f***ing suck. If you got like stuff hitting you on the road, or you're like bumping into other cars on the racetrack, you seemed fine then, but you're gonna say ow when you're in a cactus patch? What's happening there? And now, what is the currency in this universe? Because there is a class system, as we see with the Rusty's commercial, or like Deal Brand or whatever McQueen's on, and he has to like drive through all these rusted old cars. They're like, McQueen, we love you! And he's like, ugh, poor people. Like, is oil? Is oil the currency? No, because they're buying oil. Do they use just money? Because you don't see it in the movie. Nobody pays for a damn thing in the movie, except there's like clearly class systems. A couple more random things, like tramp stamps exist. Why? Is that area like sexual? Is like that their ass? I don't know. A lot of the buildings have fans going around in them. Why do they need fans? Don't they have like coolant and stuff? Like, can't cars keep themselves cool? Why do we need this space to be cool? And what is the lifespan of these cars? Because we see young cars, we see old cars. Have cars died? There's also a scene where Mater is drooling oil. Now, I know they're not eating the oil. So what kind of leak does he have that it's coming out of his mouth? Also near the end of the movie, when McQueen comes back, he's like rescued, he's back in the race. All these reporters are like, where have you been? Is it true you've been in rehab? What are they getting addicted to? Drugs? Are there like human drugs in this world? The hippie van's clearly on something, so I don't know what the deal with that is. In conclusion, the movie Cars makes 0 sense. And to be fair, I haven't watched like the second and third and like Mater's Adventures spin-off of it. But I doubt things would be explained in there. I feel like I would just have more questions about this universe. And like, it doesn't bug me that much because it's a kid's movie, doesn't affect my life, except that it does. I don't like that there are so many unanswered questions about the Cars universe. Anyway, this was stupid, and if you know me in person, no you don't. And if it's not stupid and you do know me in person, give me some answers. Talk to me about this. What's your theory? And if you come at me with that alternate reality bullshit, I'm not gonna hear it. You're not gonna convince me of like the easy cop-out answer that Disney could just give. I'm gonna need a little more thought than that. Well, you can check out my other videos. I post on here whenever I get a burst of energy. Bye. 4 chefs get $25,000 each.
Ooh, yeah!
To win, they must survive 3 culinary challenges and
Each other. It's cutthroat, bitch! This is a game where sabotage is not only encouraged. You have to do all your cooking with this used tube of paper towel. Chef, you gotta get stabbed in the leg